Hey there friends, welcome back to my channel. If you are brand new here, my name is Melanie and I am a homeschooling mom as well as a nursing student, and I'm a mom, so I wear a lot of different hats. But today I want to share with you a video that I have been so excited to film. I actually had to put it off because I had to wait for some things to come in the mail, but today I'm going to be sharing with you our curriculum choices for the upcoming year. Now, if you're unsure as to why I would be so excited about sharing curriculum, let me link a video for you guys here where I share that after taking a short little hiatus from homeschooling our two youngest kids, we have made the decision to start homeschooling them back again, and so I'm so very excited. I was like a kid in a candy store when I got to purchase curriculum. So I have 4 children in total, but my oldest has graduated, and so we are just going to be homeschooling the other 3 this year. And so I'm going to share with you first of all our curriculum for our first grader. Kyler is 6 years old, and she is still very much in the beginning stages of learning all things school related. So the method that we have always chosen to pursue here in our home when it comes to homeschooling with them when they are very young is we try to help them learn as much as possible through play and through just life in general. So having conversations, asking questions, we read to them a lot, we have a lot of interactive STEM activities here in our home. We do a lot of puzzles. It's a lot of activity-based learning. And so we don't do a lot of really what I would consider to be focused book-style learning at her age, but we are going to do a little bit. And so I wanted to share with you guys. We will start with her handwriting for this year. So she can write pretty much anything she wants to at this point with some help with the spelling. Obviously she's 6, but we really need to start working on getting her handwriting to be just more legible. I'm not honestly going to stress about it too much at this point because she's still such a tiny little human and her body is still developing, her hands are still developing, and so I'm not going to push her to be able to have perfect handwriting. We just want to continue to encourage her to work on it. So we did choose to go with the Handwriting Without Tears book this year, and this is just my printing book. It's pretty standard. I'll just show you guys inside the book. It's just gonna help her further work on her handwriting. Like I said, she already writes. One of her favorite things to do kind of in life is to write little notes, and so she has notebooks that she goes around and writes any kind of word that she sees around our house, and she'll frequently come up and ask us how to spell something. Today she wanted to know how to spell each of the rooms in our house. So how do you spell bathroom? How do you spell dining room? How do you spell laundry room? And so we wrote down all of those things together. And honestly, that's how I prefer to teach my kids, is when they show curiosity about something, we answer their questions and we help them with that. So to go along with that, we also know that it is very important that our children start learning how to read as soon as they can. Now, I will say I don't necessarily believe that it should be forced on a child when they're really young. My son, who is now 10, was a very resistant, very hesitant is not the right word, just resistant reader. He wanted nothing to do with it, and I pushed and I pushed and I pushed until the point that we were both just in tears, and it wasn't worth it, you guys. I was wanting him to be fully reading by the time he was in 1st grade, and he just wasn't. I will say that by the end of his 1st grade year, he was reading significantly more, and by the end of his 2nd grade year he was reading on a 4th grade level. And so when he was ready, he decided that he was going to learn how to read. Kyler is at that point now. She is ready to learn how to read because she keeps asking me, "Mommy, what does this say?" And I'll tell her, "Sound it out." Or we have quiet reading time and she'll say, "But I can't read." I said, "Well, everyone has to learn at some point." So she looks at the books and she starts sounding out the words, and she wants to be able to read them. So that, in my opinion, is kind of the first step in encouraging your kids to learn how to read. They have to want to know how to read. but she is still a very beginning reader. And so we have currently been working through the Bob books with her. This is just the sight words collection. We used this for my son too, but he didn't care for it too much. You guys, Bob books are kind of amazing. Kyler gets really excited when she's able to make her way through one of these and know all of the words. So this one is just called The Trip. I mean, there are, I think there's, I don't remember how many books are in here, but it keeps it really, really simple. And they're all words that she can sound out, and it just kind of, it builds on the previous book. So this is book 9. This book will build on whatever she read in book 8, all the way through to book 20. There are 20 in this box, and so by the time she gets to the end of here, she will be able to read this entire book to herself, and we are really excited for that. And I can never really tell if my kids have colored in the books or they just came like that. I think maybe I know for a fact my kids color in these. So we will be using these to help her with her reading, along with just books that we check out at the library and anything and everything we have here that she wants to read. But as far as her sitting down and reading, these are the ones that she will be using. And then the last thing that we're going to start working on with her is her math. And we are going to be using Horizons for math for her to begin with. This is just book 1. It's really pretty simple. Honestly, she already knows how to do a lot of these things. The only issue is that she can't read this book to herself. So, I mean, as you can see, this circle, the bigger object, she can't read that yet. And so the plan is for her daddy to sit down with her at lunch every day and spend a little bit of time going over this. But that is what we have chosen for her math. And now let me show you what we are going to be using for our son, who is going into 5th grade. He is 10 years old. So we will start with his history. For the past several years, we have used Biblioplan. We love it. It is an amazing curriculum, and we have managed to cycle our way back through to year 1. So this is what I would consider to be a cyclical curriculum, meaning it has 4 years in total that it breaks up basically the entire history of mankind. And once you get to year 4, the next year you come back to year 1. But the way it works is that by the time you are back around to year 1 again, you are basically 4 years down the road in your schooling, and so you're ready for that same information but at a more advanced level. I'll explain it to you a little bit greater detail here in just a minute, but basically we use Biblioplan. We are at year 1, and it is Ancient Days. This is his textbook, and then it also comes with his workbook. So he will basically read the chapters, and then he'll turn to this is the questions from the readings for week 3. There are 34 weeks worth of assignments in this book. So this is what he will do and turn into his teachers when he goes to the co-op on Fridays. And then in addition to this, he will also be taking geography that goes along with it as well. So this book has maps in it, and all of the lessons go right along with exactly what he is learning for the particular week. So it all coordinates, it all goes together. It makes it really easy for the kids to, it just makes more sense to them if they can see the maps as they're learning about the things that happened in history. So we love this curriculum, cannot recommend it enough. Our homeschool co-op uses it, and that's why we were introduced to it. We've been using it now. This will be our 4th year. So when we started using Biblioplan, we were technically in year 2, so this will be the first year that we've used year 1. So we are also, this will be the first year that he's actually taking any type of writing. You could also, I guess, technically call this grammar. If you were trying to compare it to something in a public school setting, this would basically be his language arts. So he is going to be taking writing through IEW, which is Institute for Excellence in Writing. And it is a phenomenal curriculum when it comes to making your student a better writer. All of my kids that have been old enough have gone through this, and it's just amazing. So the one that he will be taking part in this year is Bible Heroes, writing lessons in structure and style. So I don't know if he's super excited about this class, but it is one that he will be taking. For his science credit this year, he will be using this book from Abeka, Investigating God's World. It's just pretty much a simple science textbook, pretty standard, but I did also purchase the quizzes and worksheets to go along with it per his teacher's request. So he will have worksheets that he'll do in class, I'm assuming, and then there will also be quizzes that he will do. So I'm really excited about that. So that covers his history, his science, his language arts, and the last big thing for him is math. And for his math, he will be taking math level 6 through teaching textbooks. So when you have a homeschooled student, I'm sure you're aware of this, you can't always base the curriculum that you purchase for them. You can't really pay attention to the numbers very much. You really have to pay attention to what is in that level, and especially when it comes to things like math. My son is more advanced when it comes to math. He's a much more advanced reader than I would think a standard 5th grader is, but it took him a while to get there with the reading. So with his math, he will technically be doing a 6th grade level math, but we have already done the placement test and we have determined that that is the appropriate level for him. So he will be doing teaching textbooks. As far as extracurricular, he will also be taking a class at our co-op that will be, I guess, considered pretty much like an elective. It's going to be a culinary class, which he's really excited about. I'm super excited for him because that's something he has always shown an interest in. When he was little bitty, he used to watch Giada with me, and we would watch Rachel Ray, and we would watch The Pioneer Woman, and he loved it. He has always been all about the culinary arts, and so he's going to enjoy that. And he will also be starting music lessons this year, which he has not previously done, but we are probably going to start him on piano and vocal if he is interested in doing that, just to get him started somewhere. If those don't fit for him, that's fine. We'll choose something else. So let me share with you really quickly what we will be using for our 11th grader for her curriculum. Some of her curriculum I will not have with me here, but I wanted to share with you what I do currently have, and then I will be asking for some input from you, so stay tuned just a few more minutes. I'm trying to get through this, and I'm just not doing it very quickly. So for history, she will also be using Biblioplan. So this is actually her textbook. It is massive. It is 350 pages, but Biblioplan has recently rewritten their textbooks. They started a while back, and year 1 was the final one to be rewritten, and they simply didn't have it available in the binding just yet. And so I did purchase the ebook, had it printed, and bound myself. So this is her textbook, and it is also year 1. So it is ancient history. This book I will hold on to when she has finished using it, and later down the road this will be my son's textbook if this survives this year. So basically my son is in 5th grade now. He will take year 1 in 5th grade, and then 6, 7, 8, 9th grade he will be right back around to year 1. The difference is that when he comes back around to year 1 again, it's the same time period, but different depth that the information is presented. So this is the one he will use this year. By the time his younger sister gets to this, she will be ready for this level, and then he will be here. So it kind of cycles its way through so that it's the same information. It's just once you get to the high school level, it's a much more in-depth look at what you've already been exposed to several different times throughout the course of your homeschool years. So they will be learning about the same time periods and about the same basic information, but a lot more is required from her. So I have printed out her workbook. She actually has it. I gave it to her, so I don't have it to show you, but it's pretty much the same as this. It's just a workbook that goes much more in-depth with her textbook, and then she also takes geography that goes right along with this, the same as my son. So this is her geography that goes along with that. So for language arts, she actually is going to be taking a speech class, and she's not overly excited about this. We started the speech class at the end of the 2020 school year, but that kind of, it went crazy and fell apart, and everyone knows what happened in the world. So she's going to be, we are restarting that class. So I guess on one hand, at least she has a head start. But she is going to be taking speech boot camp through IEW as well. Again, phenomenal curriculum, cannot recommend it enough. And this one actually comes with the DVDs. I was the instructor for this class last year, and so I am quite familiar with how it works and what will be expected of her. It's basically, she's gonna write and deliver speeches in her class. So that will be her language arts credit for this year. She will also be taking a leadership class that I don't remember off the top of my head what that one's going to be. I'm not even sure if I've been given that information, but it's a short little 30-minute class that she takes once a week, and it'll be considered as an elective. And as a junior, she will also this year be taking American Government. Now, I will say this is by Becca, and so I have every confidence that this is going to be a well-written curriculum. And can I just say, I cannot think of a better time for my 16, almost 17-year-old child to be taking government than right now with everything that is going on. I imagine we are going to have so many conversations about this in the future. So she also will be taking math. She will be taking Algebra 1 using teaching textbooks. Now, she is someone who's always struggled more with math, and so she is basically taking exactly what she needs in order to finish the her high school curriculum, and algebra has just really been a struggle for her. She's already taken some of the other high school level math classes, but algebra is tough, and so I put it off as long as I could, but we are at a point now where she needs to go ahead and take algebra, and so she is going to be using teaching textbooks for that. Obviously, that is an online learning program, and so I don't have that physically here to show you, but I did want to let you know about that. She also is involved in music lessons. She takes vocal lessons and will be picking up piano as well. And then the last thing that we need to figure out for her is science. And this is kind of where I am at a loss, because to be honest with you, I don't know what science she should take this year. And so if you have any interesting ideas, I would love to hear it. She really needs to take biology, but it is not being offered through our co-op this year, and I am not going to have the time to really invest in teaching her biology this year, and so I need to come up with a science that she can take, and I just haven't come up with anything yet. She has already taken general science and physical science. She still needs biology, and technically she still needs chemistry, but both of those classes are going to be ones that she needs to have someone who can really teach her, and that's not an option for me this year. I don't necessarily know what to do in place of those, so if you have any suggestions, I would love to hear those. But those are the curriculum choices that we have for our kids this year. I'm really excited to get started on this year. I think it's going to be really, really awesome. It's just going to feel so good to have my kids back at home again, and I'm really, really happy we made that decision. So that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed seeing what we have chosen to use in our homeschool this year. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up before you go, and if you are not already subscribed, it would mean the world to me if you would consider subscribing before you leave. So until next time, you guys take care and be blessed. Bye-bye.